chair is so squeaky. So welcome to the Sunday night talk. And before I start, a few things. Firstly, thank you to the lovely people who donated. Really appreciate it. And it really helps me out a lot with, various things for these broadcasts and stuff. And yeah, events. So on every Wednesday night, I have a drop-in chat group on Discord, and you can sign up to that through my Patreon page. And I have a webinar on the last Saturday of this month, and you can get in touch with me about that through my website. And my next in-person event is on the 14th and 15th of April in London. Hi, Joe. Also, if you want to Skype with me, one-to-one Skype, I do that too. And what else? I think that's it. And there's other things on my website as well, like my book and stuff like that. So, hi, Sana. So this. Hi, Louise. My editor wrote to a couple of people who do interviews on various so-called spiritual things. And really to promote the book as well, that's a fair enough thing. And but I kind of knew that they wouldn't take me. One hasn't got back to me, but that's okay. Because one of them said, making an excuse not to talk to people about non-duality. And I understand it, because for an interviewer, interviewing somebody who speaks about non-duality, there's nothing juicy in it, for the viewer. There's no story. And they always want to talk to you about your story. And I don't do that because it's irrelevant. There is nothing in the story that gets an apparent person to fall away or get to this fantasy thing called enlightenment. That doesn't happen in a story. It just appears like that for no apparent reason. There's nothing that the individual can do to get to that, to get to nothing, because you don't get to it. It's you unget from it. It's you go. You this appearance of me goes. So there's no getting to anything. So I can understand why some people are just fed up with it, interviewing non-duality speakers, because because there's no story. That's kind of simply it, really. And most spiritual seekers want to know what to do. They want a formula. They want something to go towards. And the whole thing with this message is that there is no towards, because the idea of a future only exists in the imagination. It doesn't actually exist as a reality, because no one has ever found this so-called future. It's never actually arrived. And there's no juice in this for the seeker. It's a dead end for the seeker. It's just nothing for it, because there isn't anything. There isn't anything. There's nothing here for the individual except as an imaginary story that I've got there. I've had this experience. I've done this, I've done that. But in reality, nobody's done anything. Things just seem to happen. Things just apparently happen. And nobody gets there. As soon as you think you got somewhere, that moment seems to apparently pass. And it's still this. It's just a movement in nothing. It's just nothing moving. Nothing changing appearance. Nothing. Hey. So this person, this parent person who wants something to do, is just living in the dream of going somewhere and getting somewhere. And this is it. This is it. This is what is. It's never arrived. It's never going to go. It's just going to change appearance. Hi, Donnie. Hi, Richard. Hi, Anne. Hi, SS. I'll just make this a bit bigger. Can you say everything that has happened for the human was meant to happen in life? Meant to happen. Well, it just happened. Because giving it meaning means that it's going somewhere. Nothing ever arrives. There's no end. This is so utterly endless and edgeless. There's no edge to this. There's no outside of this. Meant to happen means it would have some story of destiny. But the story of destiny is no more than a story. Can you find a destiny? What does this destiny look like? It looks like a fantasy, doesn't it? It looks like a story conjured up in the mind, and it's a destiny for me. So this was meant to happen to me. But even the me is no more real than the story of destiny. The human claims it has made decisions. Yeah, it claims it, yeah. After the decision. Hi, Claudia. Decisions seem to appear in the mind, and then the body makes a move, and it's all the body, the brain, the body, it's all the body, it's all of it the body. Thoughts. Even me is just a brain thing, you know, it's just a brain thing. It's a delusion created. It's imagined. I am imagined. The whole sense of self is utterly imagined and totally believed to be real, and sort of sees everything from that sense of reality. So how can this imagined person make a decision? Hi, Ona. From Australia. Oh, nice. And I think that, you know, people come to this message because they've just like gone through all the seeking, all the practices, all the therapies, all that stuff, and they've realized that it's like there's nothing in it. It never worked. It didn't get anywhere. And then this message is heard, and it's like, oh yeah, oh yeah. It was, no, it doesn't get anywhere. Because the getting of anywhere is always imagined as this. It's this, and it's this life appearing as imagining, getting to something. You know, there's this school of thought that you have to do this, 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 and this, and you have to meditate, and you have to have a silent mind, and have all these things going on in order to get there, but there's nobody here. There's nobody in this. I am imagined. Hi, Ella. Hey, Anne. It's a new thing that I'm getting very interested in films, concerned I'm not listening as much to non-duality. Doesn't make any difference, Anne. Because you're not going to get anything. Listening to non-duality is just what happens. It's just what happens. Watching films is just what happens. It doesn't matter. You're not going to get anything with non-duality anyway. Just the hearing of it happens, and the kind of recognition happens. Oh, it's 6:30 tomorrow morning here. Very happy to finally remember to turn on my computer so early in the day. Oh yeah, it is. It's early there, isn't it? There's someone else here who's from south side of the world as well. It's a great thing, isn't it, about the internet? You know, we can watch things all over the world. It's brilliant. This is what's happening. Listening to non-duality is what's happening. Sounds are happening. Body is happening. Everything is just happening. You can't get to it. But repetition is important. Yes and no. Very unhelpful. Kind of, but it's still kind of in the story, really. But it seems to help, yeah. It seems to help. It seems like when there's a recognition of the message, repetition of it is like a constant reminder. But it's not you doing it, Anne. You're not doing it. Important, I mean, it's like important for what? It's not important for anything. It's just a reminder. Yeah, if repetition happens, yeah. Yeah. Or doesn't. But you're not going to get anything. You're not there. You're just imagining you are there. There's no reason for this message. It's not meant to be. Yeah, there's no reason for anything. And there's no not reason for anything. Hi, Julie. Oh, thank you. Made an effort, brushed my hair and put a little bit of lip gloss on. Yes, Joe. Looking for something other than what's happening. Yeah, no one looking for nothing. Honor. So even though it looks like there is progress and cause and effect, etc., is everything happening spontaneously? Yes. Cause and effect are just a story. Because how far back can you look at that cause and effect? You'd have to go back into the depths of apparent time to look for which to birth start it. It's just the whole thing is just apparently seems to happen. The whole life just apparently seems to happen. Because if you look at the idea of cause and effect, there is no effect, is there? Not really, because then there's the next thing and the next, there's just the next appearance, apparently. It says, everything happens by itself. The person imagines that he has done something and feels it wants to control things. Yes. Yes. It's imagined. I am imagined. And I'm imagining that I want to control things because life is just not looking how I want it to look. I want it to look a certain way. And even if that certain way comes as like a bigger house or a new car or something, then it moves on to the next thing because it never finds what it's looking for because it's looking for home. It's looking to retreat back into home where it can feel safe and secure. But that's just the dream it lives in. Everything already is home, but it's not home for anybody. Is it all coincidence? It's beyond that. It's just what's happening. It's too immediate to call it anything. Coincidence would have to be going back over things to be coincidence. It would be have to go into story about coincidence. Seeming coincidences happen, but they're not anything to speak of. There's no answer. There's no answer in a description. The me is always looking for an answer, and there isn't one. This is the end of questions and answers. There's nowhere to go. There's no one to go anywhere. There's nowhere to go. There's just only this. It's always just this. I'm just, the eye is just imagining that there is somewhere to go to. Do you think that a person has to go with suffering to reach this point and then the illusions fall away? No. No, I think suffering does bring people to this message because, most people have just had enough of seeking. They've had enough of serving masters and meditating and burning incense and going to silent retreats or whatever it is. People just have had enough. And I think the suffering sense of self does bring people to this message. But there's not a point that the individual sense of self has to get to for the illusion to fall away. It can just suddenly fall away. There's no, it's just what happens, really. Hi, lovely. Oh, yeah, thank you. You too. Yes, exactly. Sometimes suffering seems to bring people to these meetings, seeking, because seeking is suffering, isn't it? It's this longing, this endless longing, this endless trying and wanting to get somewhere, to come to the end of my sense of separation. But this is the way life appears. It's not appearing for anyone. The life is appearing as an apparent person suffering with all those stories of seeking and trying and wanting. All of it, the whole thing is the one life. The whole thing. I understand everything you say, yet I feel so separated. Yes, yes. There's a recognition in the message. It seems obvious, but that doesn't make the sense of self fall away. It just can suddenly be revealed that the whole thing is illusory. The whole thing has been imagined. It's like, oh my God, I have imagined this person here. And the way that happens, there is no way. It just apparently happens. There's no rhyme or reason to it. There certainly wasn't anybody here meditating and doing all this stuff. It just seemed to come apart at the seams, really. Lovely. Can you say what it is exactly when you say there is not a separation? I mean, everyone has their own unique appearances. There is no separation because everything is just the one aliveness, the one energy, including the sense of separation. The sense of separation is an apparent imagined separation. So really, there is no separation. It's only imagined, believed. Yes, everyone has their own unique appearances. Yeah, all the characters are completely different. You know, and in this message as well, there's lots of different speakers, but everybody is completely different. Just comes out. Just comes out. But it's not coming out of anybody. It's just sound. In the end, it's just sound. And words. Cognizing words. But nobody's doing that. It's all just happening all at once. The whole thing is landing all at once. SS, it's beautiful how life works. Yeah, it's a freaking miracle. It's a wonder. It's a wonder. And the me goes, but where's the wonder? The wall is the wonder. The air is the wonder. The coffee, the words on the screen. It's all the one wonder. And then there's this sense of person looking for the wonder. And the looking for it it overlooks it. But it's not a wonder for anybody. It's just amazing. And there's no reason for it. It's just amazing. What can I say? I can't describe that. Yeah, me is a freaking wonder too. Yeah, everything, the whole thing. Nothing is separate. Me, the appearance of me is not separate. It's the appearance of separation, but it's not separate at all. There's nothing separate. How can you separate anything out? It's the one field. Everything. Joe, Eckhart Tolle doesn't like the word work. Who does? Today I realized I've been suffering a lot from intense seeking lately, so something seems to have let go, hence watching more films. Let go of that, but it feels a bit scary somehow. Maybe there's the story there that if I let go of seeking, I'm not going to find it. But if you look at that, you'll see that it's the same story it always has been. I'm not going to find it. I'm not going to get it. I want to get it. I can't get it. What is it? Where is it? Doesn't matter what happens. What this appears as doesn't matter because it's the one thing. For me, lives in fear. Fear of dying, fear of not being in control, feels insecure. You wouldn't want this anyway, because this is the height of insecurity for any apparent me. Not that the me can see that, but if it could, it's the absolute height of insecurity, because there's nothing left here in the sense of security. Nothing left because there's no time to get security in. So security always exists in the sense of time, becoming secure. The sense of self is a total insecurity. It lives in that insecurity of being separate and vulnerable. I have to find something. I have to cover up the sense of insecurity. I have to do all these things. Lives in this absolute dream, or what rather often a nightmare. It doesn't matter what happens, Anne. It doesn't matter what's appearing. It's all the same thing. You're not going to find it anyway, because it's already everything. You can't find already everything. Just looking for it seems to happen. And yes, I won't get it if I do that. That's exactly the story. Yes, I see it's insecurity, which my me hates. That's bang on. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah. Yeah, it hates the sense of being separate. Yeah, it's insecure. There's no certainty. It wants to feel certain that I'll be okay. Everything will be okay. That's what it's looking for. Really. But there's nothing in this for the me that is okay. It's totally in free fall. There's nothing here to get hold of. There's just nothing. Thanks, lovely. I love your name. Ella, yes, everything is already here. Where is there? She says like this. To go to. Exactly. Try and find where there is to go to. There is nothing to go to. But I can go out the door and into the street, but it'll still be this. Still be this. Nothing would have moved. Nothing is happening. Nothing. Hey, Donnie. Why do you think it is that even when you know the sense of self is an illusion, it still seems to have such power? Because knowing is just knowing. It doesn't, like any, you could say that knowing, if you kind of equate knowing with practice, it doesn't do anything. Life apparently just reveals the illusion. It just falls away. That's all I can say. It was just never real. It doesn't happen, and yet it apparently seems to happen. You see, the reason, well, not the reason, but it still has such power because that's how life's appearing. That's it. That's how life is appearing, as seeming to have power. Yeah, true, yes. Just have to live it. Well, no one has to live it. No one can live it. Someone living it is a story. I am living it is a story. There's no one living this. Who's living it? Can you find living it? Can you even find that idea of living it? I am living it, where there's no meaning in it. Where is this living it? You'd have to imagine that I'm living it, that I have to live it. It's already happened before anyone can even have the story of living it. It's just here, it's just this. Orna, do you know that this is not another, how do you know this is not another play of the mind? Well, what would be the play of the mind? I don't understand what would be a play of the mind. There's the mind, there's thoughts, there's desk, there's computer. They're happening, they're apparently happening. I don't know how that would be a play of the mind. See, there's not something here that knows something, that can be tricked into knowing something. That would be a trick of the mind, tricking itself into knowing something. But this is the end of knowing. There's nothing here that knows anything at all. That just ended. That whole dream of knowing something ended. So all that's left is what's happening. And I can't really say that this is a trick of the mind. It's just what's happening. That's all that's left. There's nothing left. And I don't know what this is. I don't know what wall is, or plant, or computer. I don't know what they are. And, you know, it's quite possible that when this body dies, well, actually, when this body dies, this whole thing will just disappear anyway. Just gone. Is that a trick of the mind? I don't know. I don't know what this is. I just literally don't know. Joe, can you play around with non-duality? Can you play around with non-duality? As a clever form of story making, yes. Yes. I see it all the time on various social medias. People arguing about non-duality. No, it's, I know this more than you know this. No, you're wrong about this. Yeah, if you get clever with it, have all the nice fancy sounding words, but kind of meaningless. And yeah, I give up. I haven't got the energy to seek anymore. Feels like a relief, unless it appears again. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Yeah. Seeking is very strenuous. It's very tiring, seeking. Claudia. Oh, thank you, Claudia. Because there's something that sees, something that hears what's being said, because it's pointing to the obvious. How more obvious can it be? There's a body sitting in a room with sounds and coffee and whatever else is there. And we're talking about not being able to find anything that is not this because it's imaginary. So yes, there's a kind of sense of like, oh yeah, but there's nowhere for me to go in it and I can't find it. So, that can be there as well. But it can also be like, oh, it's kind of relaxing to the body, isn't it? It's like, oh, that kind of tension of trying to get something can sometimes just not be there. I remember it here. I'd listen all the time. When this being and being was going on, I'd listen all the time to usually Tony because it was like, oh, it was like breathing fresh air. That sense of manic seeking would be just calm down, really. Claudia, no more mind games, freedom. Yeah, yeah. The sense of self is just a mind game. It's imagined. It's not some sort of mystery, separate person, kind of that has to die and has to go through all these things and all these things that it makes up that it has to do. The whole thing is a fantasy that feels real. That's all it is. The whole fantasy of finding something in this. It's just imagined, isn't it? When you really look at it, I'm trying to find this. I'm trying to find it. Where is that? Where is that trying to find it happening? It's just happening in the mind. And it gives a sense of a contracted sense in the body. It's like it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. I'm here. I'm self-conscious. You're looking at me. Ella, it's like everything is on the stage and me is one of the characters. Yeah, yeah. This is just one big stage and there's nobody on the bloody stage. There's nobody on it. Because there's character in dogs as well, and cats and cows and sheep, and they all have these characters, don't they? Humans have character. I mean, plant lovers say that plants have character. I love plants, but I'm not that much. I don't, they have character. Everything has character, I guess. But, more like animals and humans, all the animals seem to have obvious character. But nobody's there. Nobody's on the stage. Just nothing. There's just nothing on the stage. Just energy dancing around. For no reason, just dancing. What did I say the other day? Everything's just appearing, big banging, without there even being a moment. Just this. All singing, just singing this. Even it's singing the me going, where? That's part of the play on the stage, is the me saying, where? And it's clear here, there's just what is, but feels like the hallucinating drug hasn't left the system. Yeah. And it feels like that for no one. There's nobody feeling that. That's just what's happening. Or no, people might say nothing matters. I can go rob a bank, for example. Can you talk about that for a bit? Yeah, nothing matters. You could also say that nothing doesn't matter either. It's either doesn't matter and it doesn't not matter. It's beyond that. And the idea that I can go and rob a bank is just a story that's made up. If the character's a bank robber character, it'll go and rob a bank. But if it's not, it won't. It's just like, okay, now I can get rid of all my ethics and go and rob a bank, because if it doesn't matter, but nothing matters. It's just another concept. This is beyond mattering and not mattering. It just is what it is. It's not a concept. There's no concept in this. Concept appears in it. It is neither meaningful nor meaningless. It's nothing that can be spoke of in those terms. All those terms are all total concepts. You know, here nothing matters and nothing doesn't matter. But there's no propensity here to go rob a bank. Or do anything different than what the character already really did. Just all the stories have dropped about the character, about the person. The person's stories have gone. Just gone. Nothing changes. Every life just carries on the same in its appearance. It just carries on the same. I think people who rob banks probably don't care anyway. They probably do have the nothing matters kind of attitude. Doesn't matter, I'll just go rob a bank. You know, you've got to be that kind of character. It's like saying, well, there's no me here now, I can just go murder somebody. Well, who would do that? Who would do it? That's just a me story, that I can go and kill a person. There's no me left to have any kind of story. It's just what's happening. There's no longer any self-analyzing or self-reflection or self-consciousness or self-anything. Because the whole appearance of self is merely a construct. An imagined one. Claudia, I guess the character of the human will not change. Preferences and values will be the same. Absolutely. Absolutely. This character's preferences haven't changed one bit. In terms of preferences, not at all. I still like the same things. Nothing's changed at all. Except for that neurotic sense of being a person. In terms of preferences to how this character is, the character just does its own thing. The character has always done its own thing. The sense of self says, I am the character, but it's not. It's a story happening. Has no effect on the character at all and its preferences. I mean, try stopping liking a certain food that you love. You can't. Your body either likes it or it doesn't like it. You know, this body still cannot bear Brussels sprouts. Hasn't changed at all. My love of sci-fi has not diminished one little bit. I'd say now it's more kind of it's more kind of free to be there because there's nothing judging it as being, you know, anything. It just is. It's preference. So everyone thinks the world is real. Yeah. Well, the identity lives in the story of the world being real, but there's nothing real here. Donnie, so frustrating seeking to know something that me can't ever know. It feels here that I have to just accept that and let go of any concepts and just be and let's wait for your second part. You know, the me can't ever know because there's nothing to know. There's absolutely nothing to know. Knowing is an idea. And I have to just accept that is another story that's happening. There is no I there to accept it. It's just the story. I have to accept it and let go. But none of that's really happening, is it? It's only happening in the imagination. And there's a sense that it's real, which is also just what's happening. But none of it's real. Nothing is real. There isn't anything here that is a reality. Corner, there is no one to know anything. Yes, and there is no one to rob a bank either. Banks get robbed. And today, when the seeking went away, there was just space and unknowing. Felt like my mind stopped working. Very nice. Yeah. The world is real and unreal, says Joe. I don't know about the world. It's just what is. I don't know if this is a world. I don't know what this is at all. Completely clueless. Donnie, you're welcome. Hard to put into words what I mean sometimes. Don't know myself. No. No. Yeah, it's hard to put into words sometimes, isn't it? I can usually see through the what's being written. What normally, you know, in those sorts of questions is the sense of self running around trying to know something. That's just what's going on. That's just what's going on. It's just and imagine me running around like a lunatic, not getting anywhere, not knowing anything, and not getting anything at all. It only gets things temporarily as a story for itself. Oh, I've got there. I can relax now for a bit. I can relax for a bit, but it doesn't last long, does it? It doesn't last long. It's back off again, running towards nothing. Imagine I'm running. Ella, don't know yourself. Everything will be fine. Everything is fine. Everything is just perfect, actually. It's perfect, even when it's not, even when it's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. It cannot I be any other way. Life just does life just does it. Life is it. It's it. It's it. And it isn't anything. Just what's happening. Can't name it, touch it, smell it, feel it, describe it. Table, chair, air, plant. You know, there's nothing in it. The concepts can happen about it. Beliefs can happen about it, but they're all in the realm of story, imagination. No, no, Ellen, no one can grasp it. Nothing can grasp it. No idea, concept, thought, word, anything, anything. Because whatever is appearing as a thought, as a concept, is it? It's just the same aliveness as the wall or the cup. It's all the one thing. I can see why people don't want to interview non-duality speakers. After this talk, it's just like there's nothing in it, is there? There's nothing here. There's nothing to get. There's no juicy story. It's absolutely frustrating. And yet so free. This is so free. Because it is. It can't be anything but free. And yet everything is happening so well. What a crafty architect life is. It is. It's like seamless. Absolutely seamless in its appearance. Absolute, utter genius. Genius magic. Wonderful. So I've heard, Joe. Joe says 93% of communication is non-verbal. Yeah, I don't know. Orna, so it might or might not happen that the illusion will drop. There is nothing the me can do. There is nowhere to go. There's nothing to find. Just relax and let it be. Okay, let's go to the first bit. It might or might not happen. I'm going to say something paradoxical here. It might happen, might not happen, but it never happens. Because it doesn't happen for somebody. It's just another appearance. It seems like it happens, It seems like it happens, but when that just then becomes a story, so it never happens. The happening of it is no different from any other happening. It's no different from drinking a cup of coffee. So in that sense, it never happened as a happening. It's just an apparent appearance. But yeah, it might or might not happen. But there isn't anything that the me can do about it. No, absolutely not. It might or might not rain tomorrow. It's but paradoxically it doesn't happen. There was a change seemed to happen here, but nothing happened. Reality. Just relax and let it be. You might as well. You might as well. And it'd be great if you were on good butter at the gas pump if he didn't wind you up. I think it'd be the other way around. I think I'd wind him up. I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to get enough people putting me forward for it. I'm certainly not writing. Yeah, but I don't think I'm not sure if he really likes non-duality. I think, I'm not sure if I think he does and he doesn't. I don't know. It'd be fun. I'll certainly sell a few more books. Joe, if you've not got it now, you won't have it then. Well, you won't get it anyway. There's nothing to get. There's nothing to get. The idea of getting is just an idea. The feeling I want to get it is just a feeling. It's a believed imaginary experience. No one has it or doesn't have it. There is no one. There's no one here. So there's no one to not have it. And there's no one to have it either. The whole idea of having it and not having it is absolutely redundant here. Yeah. Ella says, this is just happening. What do you want to get? Yeah, it's just a getting of a fantasy thing, but there's no one to get anything. It's already got. Sitting on a chair, reading words, listening to sounds, drinking tea, whatever, it's already got. Whereas nobody's got it, it's just what is. Yeah. I think he loves non-duality and hates it all at once. I don't know. I would enjoy it though. I would. It'd be interesting because he'd be up for it'd be a proper debate, wouldn't it? Because he's quite contentious sometimes. But I quite like that though. I just like it. I just love the feeling of the response that comes. It's just so juicy. I welcome any kind of question, I just welcome it. It's just great. Okay, any last things before I go? I'm just going to look at my calendar. I think my last talk for a while is going to be on the end of this month. Just have to see. February. Oh yeah. I'm doing talks up until the 25th of February. And then there's nothing for a month. Unless I do something just purely spontaneously. Tell us about your February web meeting. Oh yeah, okay. So let's get my calendar back up again. The web meeting. Saturday 24th, starts at 2 o'clock, goes on till 5:30, so it's quite long. Yeah, you just got to go to our website. All the details are on there. It's very easy to do. It's a small group. It's very small, so everyone gets lots of time. Last time I did it, it was really, really nice. Really, really nice. So I thought, okay, let's do this again. Yeah, thanks for the reminder, Ella. Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, that'd be great, Claudia. I'd surely sell a few more books. And it would be an interesting discussion with him. But I don't know if he's kind of totally off non-duality speakers right now. Oh, thanks, Anne. And Anne, I'll see you on Thursday. I'm really looking forward to it. Coming up. She's in Spain next week. Whee! Great. Oh, thanks, Will. Okay, guys, gonna run. And I'll see some of you on Wednesday. And I'll definitely be here this time next Sunday. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for the great questions and everything. And speak to you soon. Bye.